Ever since the economy took a fall in 2008, many industries have been blamed for the cause behind the downturn. Perhaps the largest industry accused of using poor practices was that of the banking industry. We learned of companies too big to fail, and banks were at the top of the list for government bailouts in addition to major automakers. In an effort to save the markets from continuing to crumble, the government used taxpayer dollars to shore up these companies and then passed a myriad of rules and regulations to prevent banks from overextending themselves through loose credit loans and unwise mortgage guarantees. Because of the behavior of the banks and the government's crackdown, many Americans faced roadblocks never seen before when it came to obtaining lines of credit either through loans or using credit cards. This left a very sour taste in the American people's mouths, and banks have been trying to earn the trust of the public ever since. Despite the numerous regulations placed on banks, they still continue to search for ways to up revenue and gain back the capital they lost. This has led to several corporations looking for ways to reward not only their customers, but their employees as well by providing incentive programs to secure stable loans, get customers using the company's sponsored credit/debit cards, and opening more accounts of different variances. One of the large banks that pursued these types of expansions was Wells Fargo. The company took a hard hit with consumers in relation to the collapse of the mortgage market. Wells Fargo, as well as others, admitted they were all guilty of routinely signing thousands of foreclosure documents without checking the facts and without the presence of a notary public. This downturn led the company to seek other ways to increase their holdings, and in order for the company to do this, leadership set high sales goals for their employees that pressured them to, in turn, pressure their customers to expand their lines of credit and usage of the bank within the bank itself. This, like many other strategies, was similar to methods used prior to the collapse of the banking system. Companies were more focused on short-term gains and rewarding shareholders as opposed to stakeholders. This did not turn out well for the stakeholders. In order for employees to meet the ridiculously high standards enforced by management, they sought illegal avenues to make this happen. Using information of existing customers, employees, approximately 5,300, started opening new account, credit debit cards, and online accounts. The staff would take money from the account the customers primarily used and transfer it to the new fake accounts. In addition to the credit cards, new accounts would be opened and charges for services started racking up unbeknownst to the customers as they had no idea the account existed. Penalty charges started racking up and making the company more and more money, doubling the stock profile from 2012 to 2015. From this, many managers saw huge increases in bonuses for an increase in the company's stocks. Eventually, a whistleblower informed on the company, leading to a congressional investigation of the banking company. The commission discovered that some had knowledge of the potential ethics violations since as early as 2013. Since the eruption of the scandal and the concluded investigation, the company was ordered to pay $185 million in penalties for engaging in illegal account and credit line formation. This has also led to further distrust, still on shaky grounds despite an economic upturn, for the big banks and their constant drive to increase profits at the expense of consumers. Referring to consumers, Lentner, Szigeti, and Tate wrote an article stating, "The financial management of a given organization directly influences their present or future, as their investments can be de- or revaluated, their income can change, and their debt service may be modified." Perhaps these concerns aren't really taken into account in these large banks. This kind of corporate greed has been highlighted in several news mediums and has even gone to a new level of exposure not normally seen in political campaigns. No matter what the party affiliation, many politicians have used the public's distrust of banks to boost their campaigns, promising to fight against the greed of these large corporations. Where we go in our free market economy from here will be the ultimate test of our economy. Obviously, the banks still have a great deal to learn.